Hey, what's going on? What's going on? Whoops, where did it go? What's up, children of the sun? This is your metaphysical advisor, Monterey Bible. Wow, having a lot of stuff on my mind today. So I wanted to kind of discuss it with you guys. I love all things Anunnaki and uh, angels and all types of stuff like that. So I really wanted to kind of show you some stuff that I found today that I think will interest you. And as well, I pulled some cards because I wanted to see kind of if there was an underlining message. If you saw my last video, I was talking about, NASA and some of the lies that I feel like we're being told, not only about the universe, but about everything when it comes to what they've discovered and all this stuff. And I really believe there's a hidden brotherhood of people who give themselves messages back and forth, through code or whatever. Um, I'm part of a fraternity. We have secrets, and so there's always hidden language behind everything. We even do it at a small fraternity. But imagine if you're in a very large brotherhood that's international, what kind of codes that they may have for each other. So that's neither here or there. But anyways, I found a really interesting article, and I wanted to let me if I can get everything working here. Here we go. Sometimes my mouse wants to act crazy. All right, so I found this article. Let me take some of my captions off here. Sorry about that. This article actually came in today. Love Saturn's rings? Well, they will be destroyed. NASA reveals when. March 30th, 2022 came out today. Talking about Saturn's rings are slowly dissipating. This is a NASA research that they've done, which is like, okay, so what, right? And let me see, I just kept reading. Early scientists believe the rings of Saturn emerged with the planet itself, a time when the solar system is early stage of formation. This made sense. There would be a lot of particles and dust. And they say usually the rings are made out of ice and water. I don't know how ice and water can exist in space, but that's neither here or there. I mean, I thought it was cold out there. But they say the rings are made out of ice and water. Anyways, Saturn will be ringless for at least 300 million years. When I read that part, I thought that was just so weird. 300 million years? Why even give us this news? Why is it even important? So I was thinking, well, what's the significance of 300? I mean, there is a movie in Hollywood called 300, and 300 is actually a very spiritual number. So I looked it up, and 300, not that one. No, what? Block that. 300, what does it mean? Optimism, expansion, creativity, communication, freedom, self-expression, and growth. Okay. 300 means freedom. There's a movie called 300 about these people fighting for their freedom as well. What else did I find about 300? It's there was some time of here it is. So I said the properties of the number 300, because they just threw a number out there, 300 million years. I'm like, okay, we actually pay people to research this. So I said there has to be a significance to 300. In a microcosm, creatures organized to become the source of activity, a cause acting a free and autonomous agent. Symbolism of victory of the faithful soul on the forces of evil. The victory of God on Satan, which is really interesting because usually Saturn is depicted as being the devil, or the in some stories, especially as a tarot card. The devil card represents Capricorn. Capricorn represents the devil or Saturn energy. Hey Natalie, I see you. I'm just getting a little deeper. So for them to say, oh, Saturn's rings are going to be gone in 300 million years, I just thought it was just kind of weird just to put that arbitrary number out there. And Saturn represents in astrology limitation, and 300 means freedom. So being Saturn being in Aquarius, and Aquarius is more about free thinking and community and stuff like that. Saturn's going to be in Aquarius for until 2023, March 2023, where it moves into Pisces, where it's going to be more into a more spiritual sign. So I was like, my mind was buzzing because one, I've been, doing some reading about the Book of Enoch and the last days or the Judgment Day, according to Enoch. And if you've never read the Book of Enoch, please pick up a copy, check it out. It's very close to Revelations, but I don't even know why they left it out of the Bible. Anyways, back to 300. I'm on a tangent. There's 300 invincible soldiers at Gideon. It was the length of Noah's Ark in cubits. Let's see here. Samson captured 300 foxes. He loosened them in the harvest of Philistines. 300 is in the Bible a lot, especially when it comes to victory. According to the Book of Secrets of Enoch, 300 brilliant angels keep the Garden of Eden, and an unceasing voice in a beautiful song serve as the Lord all days and every hours. Let's see. In the Spartans, a particular guard of the king of time, the war was composed of 300 men. That's what that movie was about. 300 men. 300 Abrians. I don't even know what Abrians are. 300 Umbrians were saved from the universal flood. I'm gonna have to research that. 300 Abrians. Did you say? The Book of Enoch has been on my YouTube suggestions lately. Or YouTube suggestion videos. Yeah, they have some audiobooks. They have some audiobooks on the Book of Enoch. I think it's easier to read it though, because some of those voices, those robot voices, are annoying. Oh, hold on, my screen went blank. Okay, there we go. The legend of the birth of Buddha, his mother carried him for 300 days, 3 seasons, or 9 months multiplied by 100. Pythagoras had 300 disciples. The number 300 is used 31 times in the Bible. There's a I love numerology. I'm very big on numerology. So 300 not only means creativity, but it means freedom and victory over Satan. And now they're talking about 300 million years. Saturn's rings will be gone, which mean limitation. And Saturn being in Aquarius during this time, I feel like that's a message that they're trying to give us about Judgment Day, or the Judgment. Because Saturn is represented by Judgment. He's the old man. He brings judgment upon those karmic. And so I feel like they're trying to give a message of trying to defeat the old gods in their own way. Now, NASA, of course, I do believe they do sun worship, which is why they're always using the name Apollo and stuff like that. I think, they're sun god worshippers. How many Apollo missions? Everything they talk about is Apollo, and they use a lot of sun symbolism. So I think there's different brotherhoods that worship. They are not into Saturn worship. I think that's a different brotherhood. You can tell the secret societies and what gods they worship based upon the symbolism that they use, because the symbolism of Saturn is black, the cube, the sickle, and Russia has the sickle in their flag. So just keep that in mind. Any other place that uses sun symbolism, they're worshiping their secret societies for Apollo. The secret societies for Saturn use different symbolism. What else is another? The bull is a Saturn symbol. I'm trying to think. And then there's moon worshippers too. There's lunar symbols. But yeah. Anywho, where am I? Where am I? Oh, Saturn's rings. Here's another article from the Sun talking about all of this came out today. Talking about Saturn's rings. And oh yeah, sadly the phenomenon will last forever and the ring rain is to blame. They're saying that the rings are raining down onto Saturn, which is really weird because the symbolism for Aquarius is a pouring down. And I was like, how does it rain in outer space? That's kind of interesting. I never heard of that happening before, but obviously the rings are liquefying and raining onto Saturn. So, 300 million years. Just a weird ass number. Who's going to be around? Who's going to be around to validate that? Who's going to be around in 300 million years? It's like, will the internet even be around in 300 million years? I mean, these people get paid to do this. That's why I was like, there's got to be something more. There's got to be something more to what they're talking about other than just the Saturn stuff. So, as I always do, I pulled a few cards. Now, before all of this, I was pulling cards on like the Judgment Day and stuff, and sometimes I was like, has the Judgment Day already happened? You know, some people say that, you know, all of this stuff is Judgment has already happened or Revelations has already happened. Well, I did a card reading a couple of days ago, and I believe from that reading that I did on my own, I didn't record it or anything. The Judgment has not happened yet, but it's slightly already started. Okay. And now with these cards that I pulled for this particular article about NASA and the rings, I said, what is it that they're not telling us here? So the first card that popped off was a Hierophant. And the Hierophant means tradition and rules. Okay. And that's usually how Saturn is. Saturn is about rules, tradition, how we do things, what should be done. Okay. The second card that popped off, boom, was a Judgment card reverse. And I was like, oh, now that's really weird. So are they trying to reverse the Judgment? Now, what is the Judgment? Now, the base, if you read the book of Enoch, the Judgment is really on the fallen angels, those who did, evil and sinned against the high God. There's a hierarchy. And then they started creating their own system. And also there's different punishments for different beings. And then there's the souls of men that they judge as well. Those who do evil, those who do right, and then those who just don't care. That's people who are like, atheists or whatever. I have a category for that. So there's a punishment, and then there's a reward, and then there's just, nothing happens. You just stay dead. So there is the opportunity for these beings, and I'm gonna call them beings. I think they're definitely something otherworldly, but they had a part in our creation, and when we die, they can take our soul energy and they can transform it to another kind of being. Both Enoch and Elijah were turned into angels, so they have that power to take the soul and then transform it into a new body. And we're starting to kind of see that science being created today, or science trying to figure out how to transfer a soul into another body. They're always trying to do stuff that's already been kind of created. But if all of that is true, if we take any type of grain of truth with some of these old stories like Enoch, Revelations, whatnot, there's a whole group of people who worship a secret or worship some of these fallen angels, and they're trying to prevent this from happening. Why else would we have a space force? Why are we investing money in a space force, a military for space? Who are they fighting? Aliens? Are they fighting the Anunnaki? Are they preparing a fight for the return of these old gods? Because obviously these old gods are not here on the planet, or we would see them. They're very huge. They're not the same size as us. And we can tell that they're very huge just by some of the architecture, ancient architecture in the past. Humans, we didn't create that stuff. And then when we interbred with them, the children were giants, so they took after their fathers. But there's a lot of huge megaliths, and that was created by them, man. That wasn't created by us. And people can believe that it was created by humans, and for thousands of years we were slaves and creating large. Why? There's no reason. You know, man by himself is going to create very small structures, but there's structures all over this planet, and not only ancient structures. We have large buildings with large doorways. We can go into that in another story or another talk. But yeah, talk about Sepinius of Mithra, any story of the gods. But I've been researching Tartarian architecture, and Tartarians, in the stories of the Tartarians, it just talks about there was another society living here on Earth, and we basically hid that society. And a lot of these old buildings, old architecture, are buildings made by huge people, very large people. So I think they were here recently, and we were just made to believe like it was millions of years ago, or that giants never existed. Well, the Bible says the giants existed, and we have a lot of myths and legends about giants. So we're just making up stories now. And I always hate that idea, like, oh yeah, they're just made up stories. We got a lot of stories about giants. What happened to them all? So some of them might have been gods, some of them might have been Nephilim. Either way, once again, me going on a tangent. Pitty's talking about transhumanism. Yeah, that's the act of trying to get our minds and computers to be one, or to transfer the soul into robotic bodies. So they're doing everything to mimic what spiritually is happening as well. I also said, be careful. I mean, use technology, but don't let it become you. So I clarified the Judgment card, and I got, if they're trying to reverse Judgment, the Knight of Pentacles came up. That means stop, slow down, don't move anymore. The Hermit card, they've been overthinking this energy. Like, how can we do this? You know? And then the Two of Pentacles came out reverse. Talk about there's an imbalance. So they're definitely trying to reverse a Judgment, and they don't care how they do it. If they need to knock stuff out of balance. If we look on a global scale, they're trying to control societies. They're trying to control every individual person. They're trying to take away globally. They're trying to control money. They're trying to control your identity. They're trying to control food now. They're trying to control where you travel. And if you can, they're trying to control everything about everybody. Get you into that little computer system and be able to turn off everything with a button. So watch how much you put online. They want to take all that away. They want to be God. At least your God. And then the third card that came out, which was the High Priestess, which means spirituality, the hidden. And when she's reversed, what does that mean? What does it mean when the hidden is revealed? That's the apocalypse. Apocalypse means to reveal the hidden. Revelation kind of means that too, to reveal something. So when the High Priestess is reversed, this is talking about the apocalypse in the future. And so these cards came out. This is independence, something not working, and then a separation, Two of Pentacles. A separation of two different types of people. The children of the sun and the children of darkness. When things are not working. Okay. So I still don't know what they're doing. I just can kind of see like they're trying to reverse some kind of judgment call on, I guess, the children of darkness and this apocalypse that's happening. Because look at that, Alpha and Omega. That's what stood out for me. Alpha and Omega, which means God, reversing, and also trying to see the reveal. Seeing the High Priestess is kind of hard because she's always hiding stuff. But something's not working. And I think they're trying to, and this is kind of like a cycle. It's kind of like a cycle where the children of gods are always fighting the old gods, whether it was the Titans and the Olympians or whatever. It keeps happening. So I think even with humans now, we're still doing it. On the bottom of the deck, I got the Nine of Wands, which just talks about limitation. And on the bottom of my second deck, I got the Magician card. So they're trying to manifest something. They are definitely trying to manifest something. So this is what I wanted to share with you guys today. I don't want to take up a lot of time, but it just kind of bothered me a little bit that why are they putting an article about Saturn's rings, which mean basically judgment. This means Saturn does represent judgment and limitation. And when the rings go away, that's definitely taking away that boundary. That's taking away that limitation. So when I talk about secret messages, that's what I mean. Is that I really believe that they're giving each other secret messages about, hey, this is the plan. We're taking Saturn down. We're taking away that Saturn energy. And everything that we've been dealing with in the past 2 years has been Saturn in Aquarius. And Aquarius represents, mankind as a whole. And Saturn represents limitation and limitation to mankind. Look about how much limitation we've had since 2020. So, and it's slowly dissipating as we're in 2022. And then we go into 2023, Saturn goes into Pisces. So that's going to be a whole different energy. We'll talk about that when we get there. But I wanted to share those thoughts about Judgment Day, how I think these secret societies are trying to do things to prevent Judgment Day or to change it up somehow. And what I'm seeing in the future is there's a great divide. And I've been seeing that. And we're still seeing that. People dropping friends, people unfriending folks, unfriending family members, a great divide of people. One side or this side, one side or this side. You're seeing that more and more as we get closer to this unspoken future. And something is gonna happen. We're already seeing stuff. It's just I want to keep you guys really on a spiritual mindset and know that your spiritual manifestations do work and they are happening, and not to be so much in the mundane mindset where all of a sudden you see people all talk about one thing or hey, look at here, look at there. It's like, and I'm always like, okay, that's interesting, but what should I be focused on? So watch out for that. Because the media is all controlled too. Control media, control government. All of that's real. And then the naysayers will say, you're stupid. Okay, I'll be that. Just be careful, guys. There's always some hidden messages behind everything, and that's what I think, especially about this article that came out today. That one came out yesterday, March 29th, about Saturn's ring. So I put a link in the description. So if you want to read that article, go for it. Check out the Book of Enoch. And for anybody else, if you had seen my video about what NASA's hiding, I'll put a link to that too as well. But remember, guys, keep your mind on a positive vibe. Keep creating what you want to see this world become and make your reality happen. Because if you don't do it, then who will? I will talk to you guys later. Peace out.